Now, this is something you'll probably never catch a black person doing. Probably. I'm just saying, 9 times out of 10, a black person ain't gonna do this. So, a baby bison was euthanized after being handled by a Yellowstone guest, and the bison was rejected by the herd, so it had to be euthanized. Yellowstone National Park rangers euthanized a newborn bison calf after a visitor touched the animal, trying to help it catch up with the herd. The herd had been crossing the Lamar River on Saturday evening when the calf got separated from its mother on the riverbank. According to a press release from the agency, a man observing the scene approached the animal and with apparent rescue intentions. As the calf struggled, the man pushed the calf up from the river and onto the roadway. Visitors later observed the calf walk up to and follow cars and people. Park rangers repeatedly tried to reunite the calf with the herd, but the herd resisted. The rangers later euthanized the calf, saying its persistence in approaching cars posed a hazard to guests.
Okay.
NPS is investigating the incident and asking the public to share any relevant information on a tip line. The agency has yet to identify the man behind the incident, described him as a white male in his 40s wearing a blue shirt and black pants.
Why did you euthanize him?
They had to kill the thing.
Why?
Because his herd rejected him after that human sent on him. And instead of him going to follow the herd, he started trying to follow humans. And they said it was a hazard. Pending the outcome of the investigation, he could be charged with Class B misdemeanors, including disturbing wildlife, disorderly conduct, creating a hazardous condition, and approaching wildlife, according to Morgan Watkins, a spokesperson for Yellowstone National Park. If found guilty of those charges, the man could face up to 6 months in jail, honey.
Wildlife. Okay. When you hear wildlife, what do you think of? What's the first thing comes?
Wait, it stopped recording. Wait, it stopped recording. Oh, no, it didn't. It's still recording, okay?
What's the first thing comes to your mind when you hear wildlife?
Say it again.
The first thing that comes to your mind when you hear wildlife.
Wildlife.
That means out in
the wilderness.
Right. Okay, so
Yellowstone requires that visitors stay at least 25 yards away from its 2 breeding bison herds, which collectively contain 5,900 animals at the last count in 2022. The park is the only place in the contiguous U.S. to have maintained a continuously free-ranging bison population since prehistoric times.
Why shouldn't it just be in the U.S.? Why got to be in the contiguous?
I don't even know what contiguous is. On the continent, the park is the only place in the contiguous. It's contiguous. 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 C-O-N-T-I-G. Contiguous means sharing a common border or touching. See, you learned something new on this show. The park is the only place in the contiguous U.S. They didn't have to say it in the contiguous. To have maintained a continuously free-ranging bison population. By the late 1880s, Yellowstone herds were nearly extinct due to a mix of poaching and hunting by the United States Army, part of a federal campaign to eradicate Native American tribes in the area by diminishing their main source of food. I'm telling you, boy, the European is evil. The European is evil, man. Anyway, today, park guests can spot the animals nearly year-round and from the roadway in places like Wyoming's Lamar Valley. a confluence of rivers in the park's northeast corner. NPS has frequently, or frequently, however you want to say it, defended its policy of not interfering in the natural death of animals on public lands, including orphan offspring. Our focus is on sustaining viable populations of native wildlife species rather than protecting individual animals. Reads an NSP or NPS webpage on the policy. An animal survival depends on its own daily decisions and natural selection. Another Yellowstone bison calf was euthanized following the human interference in 2016. Edward O'Brien of Montana Public Radio reported that two tourists placed the calf in their car and drove it to a nearby park facility because they thought the animal looked cold and uncomfortable. So 9 times out of 10, black people ain't doing all this. We will run before we touch anything.
We leave our dogs about.
I'm trying to tell you. So the moral of the story is what?
White people do anything.
Girl, Be Sparrow Buzzweed Talk Radio. Holler at y'all, girl. Okay. Okay.